Hi, my name is Brian Moulton, and I'm very excited to be your professor, your guide as we study together this course on the religious cults. I've had a lot of years studying the religious cults, and I get excited about this because we get to look at some strange personalities. We get to look at false prophets. These men and women who started these cults, like Mormonism and Seventh-day Adventism and the Millerites and the Millennial Dawn Bible students and the Watchtower and Mary Baker Eddy and Christian Science. And then a much later cult in the 1950s was Scientology. Got to always keep Christian Science and Scientology separate. But all of these men and women claim to be some kind of latter-day prophet. They had prophecies. Virtually all of them had prophecies, and all of those prophecies failed and had to be redone or else completely discarded. So what you'll find kind of frustratingly as you study cults in this course is you'll wonder, why didn't Mormonism die out with Joseph Smith when he was assassinated by all those townsfolk and thrown out of that second-story jail window and killed with his brother? Well, Mormonism should have ended then, but a guy named Brigham Young was enough of a believer to take it and run with it, and we've got Brigham Young Mormonism today, in a sense. Other people like Madame Blavatsky and her Theosophical Society, fascinating study. I can't wait to take you through that. And some of the prophecies of the early Jehovah's Witnesses like Charles Taz Russell and Judge Rutherford. Judge Rutherford built a mansion right here in my town where I live in San Diego area, but down near downtown San Diego, he built a mansion. They had a famous prophecy about that mansion back in the 1920s, and of course that prophecy did not come true. Well, that's why this is going to be exciting. I'm just looking at the syllabus here thinking we're going to talk about language barriers and some of the reasons why people are led into cults. Why do people want to join a doom cult? Well, I don't think they realize that Jim Jones is going to make them all drink Kool-Aid and kill everybody. Or that other people were going to, like the Heaven's Gate cult, was going to have everybody take cyanide and die up in Rancho Santa Fe, after which they were supposed to reconnoiter with space aliens coming in on a spacecraft behind a comet that was flying in the sky back in the 1990s. Oh, we've got so much to talk about. One of my favorites that really isn't in your cults book is Rastafarianism. I love 70s Jamaican roots reggae. I've got a whole catalog. I'll be playing you some of that, segments of that in this course. I love this roots reggae stuff. It goes way beyond Bob Marley. Bob Marley's like a junior partner compared to some of these others. But we'll show you that Rastafarianism is really a combination of black liberation theology and replacement theology. It's two erroneous strains of thinking that kind of are found sort of in the Bible, according to these people, but then it's all twisted around into basically the Rastas believe that Ethiopia is the Holy Land, and that it's all about getting the black people repatriated back to Ethiopia. So it's just interesting stuff. We'll have some quizzes along the way and some terms to define, usually a few papers. Theosophical Society, the Baha'i Faith. Some of these we will look very briefly at. Scientology is very big. It's very important to look at this. And wait till you find out what it costs to become a clear or an operating thetan like Tom Cruise. Okay? You wonder why it's Hollywood elites who are into Scientology. It costs a lot of money to go to all the counseling sessions they make you go to. A little bit on New Age. Worldwide Church of God, Armstrongism, that's one of the cults that repented. Son came along and said, guess what? Dad was wrong. We're going to straighten Dad out and get him biblical. Swedenborgianism, Rosicrucianism. So these are some suggested topics. By the way, I'm a graduate of Dallas Theological Seminary many years ago. Been teaching for a lot of years in different colleges here in California. But I guess my roots are in Minnesota, and I didn't become a Christian until I was 21. That was God's plan for my life. He's sovereign after all. And He called me to Him when I was 21 years old. And transformative for me, being a university student. And I really got into Christianity. I took a year off of college just to read the Bible and study it. And I knew I got to go into ministry. So then I married a Christian girl, moved to Dallas, Texas, attended Dallas Seminary for 9 years. earning a THM and then a PhD in Biblical Studies. So I've worked through the Bible very extensively academically in that kind of setting. But those are a lot of good years. My kids were born and initially raised in Texas. And then I moved my young family to Nebraska, where I pastored near Lincoln, Nebraska for several years. And then in the year 2000, felt the call to get into formal teaching in college and graduate seminary kind of setting. So I've been doing that since the year 2000. But again, you know, this cults class is cool because, yeah, we'll look at some theology and we'll look at doctrines and stuff. We have to. But we get to look at the rich background of these people who have misled millions. That's the downside of all this, is the millions of people who have been misled by these false teachers. And you know what the Bible says about false teachers? It's not a good end. It's not good now for these false teachers who are dead, but their cults remain on this earth. Well, all right, kind of a blabbery start here, but again, I'm looking forward to meeting you all and working through some of these assignments and giving you some lectures, and I'll have you guys do some studies. You'll contribute to the course too. Students always, a lot of you know people who've been in cults, either Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses or Scientology, or you know somebody who knew somebody, and you'll have your stories to tell, and I can't wait to hear your stories. So until we meet and get started, God bless you in our beginning and then continuing studies of the religious cults.